enti eno actually na enye easy anchi bia me se be na otwa na otwe mienu satam na draft audit report na afi dia bedu me nchen na wo manim na da manim na me go kumase for a certain of occasion adano so mi fi akra na ko nti esore ntem kakra me du kumase na kom de me say na kom de me ano papa say I'm saying uncle season conference Lancaster hotels there those days golden tulip yanko hold the omo buffet so I can just go and take something and eat then we go to the occasion we wura ho na mani bo madam Fruma opare enim she was sitting there watching looking towards the door timini nani asia no o ma me sign
chief of staff
madam
tell me the story.
No, so nipa de oboni dinner say we hu na just we me bo die ni say me ma me ti so am say papa me oboni die ni me say e de nyame ase na e de ase so he excused the people who were with us no say nkasa no say Mati say you are working against us em say no so say just auntie no say almost say audit bia wo ye wo national health insurance no even though we say we started from 2012 to 2018 and so focus ni na year just 2018 they just say you are looking at the current government but not the previous. Let me see auntie winning baby yamini hu pa under the natural course of things no me too kwan sana mesan ba that day no nka report nka me beje fie ananse me beja ankran me babaka but me kita report no mi si free car mu kura no mi si free car na me the report na to car no am say anhwe na me policeman ni me driver go kan report
no sa fakuta
me ko fa report ntine kita me na ikita am say report ya wo kan ho asemanti eni me yan issue ya afi kura na me go through na mum to prove the point no wo de hwe just the summary me the summary ni keke chiro nti me the summary ni chiro no me ga hwe. We see, I'm targeting a particular regime. There are about 35 audit observations, according to the summary. 35 of them. Only 4 relate to your regime.
Now we have
31
audit report.
The audit report covers 2012 to 2018. And in the course of the audit, they have raised 35 issues.
35 issues, no?
Yeah.
A move for
related to the 2 years of your regime.
And the
31 related to
Mahama regime.
The target, we say me targeting away. And Onua or here no serious. Hey, me growth where here on go in Umase. Cause you were Juba.
Oh, the chief of staff Kasa Cause you
yeah, she didn't stop anything. I said yeah, cause now you were Juba. Inti no ethical die until we audit no, and I thought I should surcharge some people because some payments were not right. First surcharge went to, for instance, Sly Mensah. If you can remember Sly Mensah, he was the chief executive. So I surcharged him some amount. I surcharged Dr. Ano and Co some amount.
Okay.
And I surcharged Zoom Lion also for some amount.
So audit reports on National Health Insurance Authority and the District Assembly establish a fact and say
exactly.
Zoom Lion for one job.
For the same service.
Okay.
And not totally about 180 something, close to 200 million
Ghana cedis.
Yes. But we calculating interest now. Surcharge means recovery of the money plus a charge.
Oh, okay.
Because the Supreme Court in Occupy Ghana versus Attorney General explain say there are two things: disallowance and surcharge. Okay. Disallowance is where the Auditor General will officially cancel or disapprove the payment.
Okay.
Then they take the next step to surcharge, and the surcharge is recovery plus a penalty or some additional money for taking government money. And I mean, so now my imagine say I should try and be objective. And he mean to me show when him as a captain who to say. Now, Papa, with their own say.
Okay.
So I decided to use the lending rate of Bank of Ghana.
Hey.
It's a basic kind of offer. Say Bank of Ghana, MOSICA, they have a lending rate.
Okay.
So I say, okay, it is offer basic Ghana says means say charge you there. I'll take it say wabo this year every. And you calculating a see 411 million
Ghana cedis
from the time the monies were paid up to date. No, the Zoom lion and TSC in a medical court.
So yes,
because the law actually says that anybody who is aggrieved can appeal at the High Court.
Okay.
It was within their right. According to the Audit Service Act in Section 17, you have 60 days to do that, actually. So he appealed in a court. A court is also High Court in Ebutiano.
The High Court, no.
Because we brought evidence, judge, no here. Documents, I did a district assembly in any. The same documents in the National Health Insurance. And there's yes the evidence.
The judge is a
judge said, "We know AI into Omungo to Escano." Emma Juana Zoom Lion appeal to Court of Appeal.
Okay.
And the Court of Appeal, no. I said the Omo and challenge surcharge, no. Say the appeal is because the thing say the jurisdiction of the Auditor General it does not affect a private business.
How?
It stops at government officials.
Maybe
In the ban is happened at Court of Appeal say, oh, okay. So now we are talking about interpreting the Constitution and not the mandate of the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court. Oh, okay. So that's how Asake is
exactly. In the Omnico Supreme Court say Supreme Court should interpret. In the Supreme Court. Satam na kabe na sana 3 or 4 days bi ansana sa leave a yeneba na minim se leave kra eba nti e Supreme Court and through my lawyers na ga Supreme Court say you don't need to do any interpretation and we have drawn the Court of Appeal's attention already. Say in Occupy Ghana versus Attorney General when they were giving the consequential orders they said the Auditor General should hold public servants and all other people. So they interpret the person which is in the law. They were supposed to interpret when they say should hold persons accountable. Who are the persons?
Both private and public.
Thank you. And they themselves interpreted the person. And you don't need to interpret it anymore. But Omenti.
Supreme Court NTA.
Oh, there be Omenti. And in Ansani, yes, I call leave. And I'm call me leave.
Tikes ekosise.
And the Supreme Court say. We say the Auditor General's mandate covers the private sector there, and so you must. The judge did not establish fraud in the case. And so if he had established fraud there, and the mandate of the Auditor General gets activated, and based upon that, they said no, the mandate does not cover except if the private sector or the private person is fraudulent. Me say, hey, Supreme Court, what kind of judgment now I be osre? Me say ingrofui. But of course, that time now the current Auditor General, he was acting for me. So he agreed with whatever the Supreme Court said. And so they wrote back to the Court of Appeal say the mandate does not cover this because the judge did not establish fraud. And he Article 187 clause 7B. There is no mention of fraud there. It was imported by the Supreme Court. But fortunately, I was not.
That was imported by the Supreme Court.
Yes. To be honest with you, an army officer and the uncounted betum.
What's it?
Me count. Because I was ready to challenge them, to tell them. I will beg their permission that I want to speak myself, not my lawyers. I want to speak to them. But fortunately, that I'm not in the office. Because now I was very determined to say, no matter what, I will challenge these guys. Because no more about that. No more sophomore for the
Okay.
Now, and I was really peeved by how they treated the sophomore for one. Okay, Crew and Associates.
That's right.
And Sana Weber. But fortunately, I was not the Auditor General at the time, and it is an office, not a personal thing. So it went and died.
Okay, tell me what happened. What call office? Yes, you could leave. You see a local office. What happened? Tell me that story. About the role of the auditor in the shipbuilding.
yeah, local that was the Zoom Lions time as well as Crow and Associate. The two cases were happening at the same time.
Okay.
But now Crow and Associate was more popular. Because of Asafo. Now people were aware of the this one. And also the same type of thing in Crofono Ekoye audit. Now, before then, let me explain something. I am among audit. The Auditor General goes around and be looking into. No, we have institutional arrangement that teams go to do their audit. Until when they do the finding as if Auditor General doesn't know. There be like there are audit offices all over the country. Just like how the police operate. And then the Oga say IGP Echiobi or Abomusua Oni. He is not aware. Until maybe the case is brought to him, he is not even aware. Okay. Until this team who went to Ministry of Finance, and Omo audit in 2018, and who payment of about $1 million. Since a man who Omo referred to $1 million Ghana cedis. No, $1 million. $1 million Ghana cedis.
$1 million.
Yes, that's a credit that's all. Over $1 million. US Crow and Associates. So the audit question was very simple. Where's the evidence of the work done? Because according to the contract, normally you do work and then they pay you. So where's the evidence? Yes. Now evidence, no Monsanka. And I say, okay, let's go back to basics. First and foremost, contract no crowing.
Contractor, you share $1 million. Crow and
exactly. Contract away. And the contract no buy a honor auditors and say at the agreement because when Jessica bears 6 months and then I'm sign contract.
Sasa Debbie, Omutia $1 million.
Exactly.
Emma Crow and Associates.
Yes.
After 6 months.
And Sana
almost signed contract.
So the contract happened months. I don't know what is exactly 6 months, but after the payment of the money.
Wow.
Okay. And she assume bed. Now contract so procurement process ben amufa so procure because it is part of procurement. Now procurement if you are competitive or restricted tendering or single source. Also single source and say okay. Say single source there approval modi single source no because according to the Public Procurement Act no Semunya approval from the Public Procurement Board. That's what you can say you should get approval from Public Procurement Authority. Public Procurement Board.
So there's a difference between the board
exactly.
and the authority.
In the Act defines the authority and defines the board as the governing authority of the board.
Okay.
And it is only the board. Ghana It's only the board which has that mandate, not the authority.
Okay.
Nipa bebre also when your Public Procurement Authority approval. Nansemi who NCA communication be on say now it was in social media. Only they got approval. Me can't say this is a fake approval. Because it is stated there that PPA hereby approves. No, they can't approve. It is the board.
Only the board.
Yes, until the proper approvals no. Osha, the PPA chief executive writes at the board meeting on this date. Board meeting number so approval was given.
Okay.
So he communicates.
So it's not the authority.
Not the authority. It is the board.
Okay.
And he say, where is the approval? And you copy. Satamna case now. I hear a leak internet or social media. And he copy by and me say, oh, authority nini. Do you notice that it is an approval from the PPA, not the board? Obia or Timas, on kind section 40 of the Public Procurement Act. It is clearly stated there, 39, 30, and 39, I think 40 and 41 of the Public Procurement Authority Act. And it should be a board approval. You say, but this one is PPA approval. ABIJ's approval is not the board's approval. So I cannot accept this. That is one. Two, this approval is given after the contract has been signed. Till payment was done, contract signed, approval now get receive. Reverse GA. They are applying reverse GA. This approval was given after the contract has been approved. And ironically, given by a chief executive who doesn't have that mandate. It is the board which has the mandate. But the most interesting part, Captain, and I say, the approval was to Kandapa National Security, not Senior Minister.
The approval, no.
The approval. It was even addressed
to the National Security Minister.
Exactly.
Not the senior
exactly.
minister.
It said the education service that could approval. Now health. Amaso Edieko.
Hey.
Exactly. So these are two different entities. Now, guys, are you reading the approval? The approval is being given to national security. And I'm saying, okay, so this approval here, but then the evidence of work done, and also here.
Okay.
And also so Sanka. So they raised the audit.
Which years can before approval?
And almost sign, and sign a contract near sign.
Yes,
sign contract and sign approval. And approval no crane also for the approval to national security.
And I was also correct. Well,
they give us the evidence as well. They are not giving it.
No, almost $1 million.
Almost they were going to collect some money. Now it has been paid by the previous government.
That's right.
And so. Because under the contract, no. Captain, we say we can a copy of the approval. 1 hour. Some people were paid. Some about $750 an hour.
Please, Chief.
Also, means be to Google that contract and yes, Google that Crow and Associate. Now 1 hour.
Every hour be a $750.
I think the maximum was about $750. A day 500. No, so for within an hour. Beautiful amounts. Papa with reference Manasseh. He also made a story about it. No, see the president's salary for a man to cry is about somebody's 1 hour 1 hour payment. But when they issued the audit observation, that was January 2018, I remember, they could not provide the evidence of the work done. And in March, they issued the management letter. These are all according to law. Audit now, AMRO. Okay. According to Regulation 34 of the Audit Service Regulation, you issue observations on the field. The audit team leader is supposed to issue the observations and receive response. I don't know, 1 year in January 2018. Then I remember in March, the team leader issued the management letter, which again, in accordance with Section 29 of the Audit Service Act, you are supposed to respond within 30 days. And also response number. Until June, and I may issue my audit report to Parliament.
Okay.
Because after 30 days, say March, April, May, just say, 30 days, no long time. To June, and I may issue me a report in the Parliament. Me issue a report in June, Grano. Honorable Safuma for sanctuary me. Say, oh, some crofano, omu ye jumana say for Monsieur Mate. I didn't respond to that letter because now I issue me a report every time is also I sank out umami nchechiremu any evidence na twom de dada enti manfi ena surcharge ne ba na omo say omo ntiase enti omo de court ena omo de court me refi ni lawyer ni di anyway ehu hia ni lawyers na say for national security interest enti na adwuma omo ye na they couldn't show it to the auditors. And so it was for a national interest. Mr. Edi. This is the opportunity I was looking for. Because now me person may establish 1 point. Say nobody is exempted from audit. Not even the president. We audit the president. We audit the National Audit Security Office in Angasan. So why would not...
Sometimes you don't make it public.
Yes, it depends upon the findings.
Okay.
So findings here, what will not cause trouble there.
You don't make it public.
Yes.
So you were looking for that.
I was looking for an opportunity to establish this.
To investigate the national security.
Everybody can be audited. No, we have been auditing them already. But at times there was pushback. Like this is national security issue. We said no. There's nothing like that. Until we served Honorable Safumafo and Crow Associate notice that 2 weeks, if you don't give us the evidence for the work done and answer the other questions, the expenditure will be disallowed and you will be surcharged. Anyway, we issue a notice. a copy goes to Attorney General, copy goes to the office of the President.
Almost everybody had a copy.
Then number bia. Now man for be say oh ntimi say charge. Obi you can't. Ehuna keke. You say hey, you don't know this guy. That just a team adem na call him. Na me nkusie ni na nka na se for na. Nti nipa da se nipa de. Wo boa mi nsuro kura. Enti time no so ye na ye say charge. No say on tiase. No mo de call court. To on de call court nso so. Nyame ncha de Justice Efia eso mu no say obisa me say and since the main issue is evidence for work done no, so catch on say yenko hwehwe adwuma na o ma yenu mu a if you direct them to make it available to will I do it? Let me say they won't do it.
Okay, I say you won't do it.
Yeah, me got through my lawyer say no, we won't do it. And I say why? Let me say because you'll be setting a bad precedent. Because in everybody say captain here be auditing na say it is come and say on studio na we see they disallow na say charge na afi HR na say film you know HR we say oh my studio into brabe here. In that case you are making audit useless, completely useless. So me as far as I'm concerned I finished my work. So it is up to you to say what you to and as a winning to.
Hey.
Yeah. And almost raise the national security issue. And Justice Afia say, almost the national security day, according to the Constitution, Supreme Court na interpreting national security issues. Into also board to straight. Supreme Court. And I got that Supreme Court. Supreme Court is beside the first question. So, Auditor General, if we ask you to go and look at the work that the senior minister did, will you do it? Let me say no. Through my lawyer, I say no, I will not. No, so why? Because the audit is completed. And I want you to tell me, under what mandate would the court even do that? Because according to Article 187, Clause 7A, or say, the Auditor General in the performance of his functions under this Constitution and any other law is not under the direction and control of any other person or authority. I think you are part of the authority. You can say that my work is not good, I'm setting it aside. But you can't interfere to say go and do an audit or continue the audit.
Okay.
So I don't think it lied with the Supreme Court.
You told them that?
Through my lawyers, we challenged that. And me and Madam for Justice Jones Doche.
Okay.
He was the one presiding over the case. Okay. It was a court rice. And one of more rice here, Chimba. Then you go carry in your agree umunim. You try one or Mosamba say. In the wisdom of the Supreme Court, they are directing the senior minister to give that evidence to the Auditor General. And Auditor General has 10 days to come back to the Supreme Court to tell the Supreme Court, say, whether he is satisfied or he is not satisfied. My lawyer, Esther, no, sit down, no, sit down. And the
Supreme Court.
Yes. Bad man kasa. Inti Zoom line on the nearby, na me imagine senka. Almost I will stand up and speak.
Hey.
I'll tell them I don't care the consequence. You can even sentence me to death, but I'm going to tell you my peace of mind. But Nyamin Chadi, I'm also says that I'm not me will leave into me uncle. In the Supreme Court, Eddie Bayer said that we should go back and do the work, no. Now, Omama me 10 days. 5 days into the 10 days. I was not going to do it. I was going to wait till the 10 days expired, and my colleague said, no, they were acting unconstitutionally.
About your leave?
No, not about my leave. About the directive for me to go back and do the audit. Okay. They were interfering because I piled up several cases. Supreme Court in Angasa has refused to interfere with Electoral Commission. Their decisions. So I was going to show it to them. That you say Electoral Commission is independent. And the same clause by which you decide not to go and direct the Electoral Commissioner protects me. In fact, Electoral Commissioner didn't put there subject to the Constitution and other law. Other gender, there's no qualification. Hey. He said in the performance of his functions, he's not under the direction and control. Well, admittedly, I know I'm under the control of the law.
That's right.
That one, I'm not saying that anybody can be above the law. I know that. But my partner say, at worst, it is the same law. So how come In this case, now I've got my lawyers to pull out a lot of cases from an EC. So you refuse to direct EC.
But why
are you directing me? Be consistent. Consistency is very important of every profession.
Hey, that would have been damning.
Oh yes, I was ready to go to jail. Me very ready. Now I was ready for a candidate for jail. And I was going to go to jail through the Supreme Court. Now I say I'll challenge them publicly, disgrace them, insult them, and they'll put me inside. I was more than ready to do that because Mijini said the judiciary has a very important role to play in any country.
Okay.
And they must be credible. And they must act in ways that people will trust them. But from my personal point of view, I thought they were being inconsistent. And consistency as an accountant, we say accountant is one of our fundamental concepts.
If it's an executive influencer now.
Meaning be free say, so being influence you and the media, as far as I'm concerned, you must be consistent.
That's all.
Executive influence, it can come on everybody at all. And that is how it went. And the next day, breaking news, I say, my acting auditor general, the deputy, has cleared Crew and Associates. So we finished the audit within 24 hours. We say, wow, where fast the power? Meaning, speed is that. Anyway, so that is how it ended. Until one day response, Ekoma Justice Efia said, well, Auditor General is now satisfied with the job. Set you free. So that ended it.
And Tisikana he?
Ashi.
Zoom lion, the other swashi?
Ashi. Almost from wedding. Free.
Wow.